You're in tune to the Sports Critic. I am your host, Drew Patton, along with my man, Jersey World of SportsFam.com. Man, I tell you what, we appreciate all the love that we're getting from all the fans. And I tell you this, you can find us on Facebook. The first name is Andrew, last name Patton. We'll add you to the Sports Critic group page. So I'm telling you now, if you're not prepared to argue sports, don't come in there because we go hard. So, Jerz, tell them where they can find you as well.
Yo, definitely catch your boy on Facebook. First name Red, last name Nice. You know what it is. We'll get you in there, man. Add you to the Sports Critic group. Let you get in where you fit in. Just remember, bring your A game, not your away game, because it goes down. The phone lines are wide open right now. You got to get in there. 347-994-2337. That's the ClichéMens.com hotline. Hit us up, man. The Sports Critic goes down live like this every Tuesday night, 7:30 to 9:30.
Now back to the show.
Where sports and society collide.
Who that? Who that? Who that? Who that? Hey, who that? Who that? Hey.
I tell you who it is. It's the Sports Critic. I am your host, Drew Patton, along with my man, Jersey World of SportsFam.com. If you listen to the show, I know probably you hadn't heard one topic where sports and society collides just yet, because, I mean, the Lefty Report really took us to another level when it comes to just looking at the lighter side of sports. We'll get to some serious stuff later, I promise. But next.
Gotta be looking at Monster Greens, man.
I'm telling you. But at any rate, we got my man, Nate Wayne, played 7 seasons in the NFL, 7th round pick out of Ole Miss. And look, for a guy to be a 7th round pick,
should have went higher.
Should have went higher.
Should have went higher. You kidding me, man? If anybody remembers this guy, Ole Miss, Chucky Mullins award winner, award number 38, made 38 famous again, made it relevant again. This dude was all over the place, man.
No doubt. So let's welcome him into the show, man. Super Bowl champ, Nate Wayne. What's up, man?
What's up, fellas? What's happening? How's it going?
Man, it is going well, man. Thank you so much for doing the show, man. Of course, never met you in person, but I've seen you play. And it's always an honor to talk to a guy that played and won one of the biggest games that most kids, that's playing Pee Wee football probably dream that they, or at least would hope that they'd get a chance to play in. So first question I want to ask you is that, you played in Denver for a few years, so you kind of know the rabid fan base out there. And, of course, with this whole Tim Tebow thing, I just want to get your opinion since you've seen, one of the all-time greats up close and personal in John Elway. What do we make of Tim Tebow? I mean, what do you think this guy's going to be, and can he be a success in the NFL, in your opinion?
In my opinion, personally, I think after facing, several, NFL quarterbacks and playing with, several great NFL quarterbacks, when you talk about John Elway, Brett Favre, you talk about Donovan McNabb, after seeing those guys, in my opinion now, Tim Tebow, nothing against him. He's a great athlete. He's not an NFL quarterback, in my opinion. I think in the years you will see Tim Tebow line up as a tight end just to get the ball in his hands, just to make something happen.
Well,
I can see that. Now, Nate, this is Jersey World, man. Glad to have you on. Mr. Monday Night Football, of course. A lot of people don't know about that. My man made it happen on Monday night. But just kind of piggybacking on something you just said, playing with the likes of John Elway, Brett Favre, and Donovan McNabb, what attributes of each of those guys would you combine to make the ultimate quarterback, or would you actually take from those guys and give to a Tim Tebow?
Wow, when I think about Elway, being a rookie, coming into the NFL, you hear a lot of different things. You're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, this go down, that go down. But in Denver, when I got there, was a bunch of professional men. It started with Elway. I'm talking about when this guy came to work, he was ready to work. He demanded everyone's A game. When I got to Green Bay, Brett demanded the same thing, but in a different type of way. Brett was more of a gambler. He didn't care if he throws 6 interceptions, because he said, hey, it's not the first time, it's not going to be the last, because he can come back and hit you with 6 touchdowns, and then you have Donovan. Donovan brings his own thing. He can he can beat you with his arm, he can beat you with his leg, and that's something that Tebow, he possessed that, But I think with his mechanics is the one thing that hurt him. And his route progression, that's another thing, in my opinion, that's a little questionable with Tebow. When I look at him throwing an out route, it takes about 2 minutes, in my opinion, for it to get there, which allows the cornerback to, easily break up on the ball and take it to the house.
No doubt. We're speaking to my man Nate Wayne, former NFL player, former NFL linebacker for several teams in the NFL. Last appeared with the Philadelphia Eagles, if I'm not mistaken, or Detroit Lions. Am I right there, Nate?
Detroit.
Okay,
Yeah,
Detroit Lions. Okay, got to do my homework a little better. Want to ask you a college question since you played in the SEC, and with this big showdown coming up with LSU and Alabama, and of course with the expansion of the league. Since you are a veteran of the SEC, with the likes of Missouri coming in and Texas A&M, are you for that, or are you just really kind of like, man, just kind of leave things the way that they've always been in the SEC?
You know what? I don't think it can hurt the SEC. I think it can only benefit. It can add more. Get more people on the bandwagon that the SEC is the best, football conference there is. Hands down. But I think when you look at A&M, their program is on the up. Mike Sherman, who coached me in Green Bay, he has these guys out there playing hard, believing in themselves. Not familiar with Missouri a lot, but I know they're having a winning program. They're having a winning program, and they're going to demand, everyone else in the SEC, including Ole Miss, to have them, everybody just to, keep their act together and keep the winning tradition going. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Absolutely, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, Sports Kritik fans, we are being joined by Nate Wayne, former NFL linebacker, former standout for Denver Broncos, Green Bay Packers, and Philadelphia Eagles. And speaking of that, man, just hopping back to the NFL really quickly, Nate, played on some pretty good defenses when I mentioned those teams. Now, with the rule changes to protect the players, which I think we're all in agreement is something that we have to do, but do you think the days of dominant defenses like the Steel Curtain of the 70s and the 85 Bears are a thing of the past with these rule changes that clearly are in the offensive team's favor?
I don't think it's in the past, but I do think that it's going to kind of soften guys up, defensive guys up a little bit. Let's say, for instance, you have a quarterback scrambling, right? And he's a quarterback. He could be, pretending like he's getting ready to run out of bounds, and that defensive player can pull up. But that Michael Vick may decide, okay, well, I'm gonna keep going. You know what I mean? So it's kind of great. You know what I mean? It could have defensive guys that, oh man, if I hit this guy, he have a foot getting ready to go out of bounds, they're gonna flag you for 15 yards on top of $20,000. So it's gonna kind of soften guys up a little bit, and when you soften defensive guys up, you open yourself up to more injuries. So that's the one thing, because if you're not playing fast on defense, you're going to get hurt.
No doubt. Nate, I want to ask you real quick, man, because you played linebacker and you played in the era, like Jersey was saying, that, you could really put some hands on some people. So even with all these different rule changes, what are some of your favorite running backs now that you're retired and you're away from the game, college or pro, that you really enjoy watching?
Wow, man, that's a long list. I like to watch a little bit of my man Slow Burner Turner up here in Atlanta. I like to watch because he just brings a different change up, to the game. I like to watch Adrian Peterson. I like to watch him. I like to watch my man in Chicago because I'm definitely a Bear fan.
Yes, sir.
Matt Forte. Just anybody that's exciting, and a guy that's a true running back that can play first, second, third down, and not just this guy's a first down back, and this guy we bring him in for third down. To me, that's not football. That's Nintendo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about your linebackers? And since you play linebacker, I want to hear about some of your favorite linebackers, not the guys that you be tackling.
Wow. My favorite linebackers, man, some of them are retired. I like Urlacher, but, Urlacher is not, he's an athlete, but he's not your stick your nose in there. He's not your buckets. He's not your Ray Lewis. But I'm telling you, from Tennessee, Al Wilson, a lot of people don't remember that. But Al Wilson was a guy that would stick his head in there and come out with your shoulders, hands down. I mean, he's retired now, but for a guy that's playing, that's continuing playing, I have to go with my man in San Francisco. Dang,
Willis.
that's my Ole Miss guy, Patrick. Yeah, gotta
P.
go
Willis.
with him.
No doubt.
Gotta go with P. Willis. You know,
Yes,
and when P. Willis retired, he's gonna be like me. He can't. The memory is gonna be gone. So I can barely remember half these guys' names.
Go ahead, Silent Part. I know you had one for him.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us, man. I just like to ask this question of folks that have actually played and never playing professional sports, but doing the show with the Critic and Jersey World, it teaches me the value of synergy and teamwork and all that stuff. And can you name one teammate or a coach or someone you played with that had a profound impact on you, and explain a little bit about that to us, please?
Wow. You know, I will have to say that really when I got to Green Bay, because when I left Denver, you know, Shanahan called me in and said, look, we got too many weak side linebackers. We're going to trade you to Green Bay. Okay? He said, you know, Ed Donatel, you know, the guy that coached in Denver, I'm familiar with him, familiar with the defense, you know, be a good situation for me. So when I got there, talking to my linebacker coach, who's now Bo Pelini, who's now the head coach in Nebraska. Now, Bo, he brought me in, sat me down. He said, hey, this is what they're saying about you. This is the MO on you. They saying that you won't stick your head in there. Now, I know different, but this is what they're saying. Go ahead and change their mind. And that's all he said to me. He said, go do what you do and do it fast. Bo, he brought that confidence in me, because there were some times, you know, like saying, being a 7th round pick, and you're like, oh, you're a little hesitant about your ability.
Right.
But when I tell you, when I got to Green Bay and started playing for Bo, it brought that monster out, brought that beast out, hands down.
Absolutely. Now, Nate, we got your man, JB, man. You can't fuck from Knoxville County. He's actually on the line listening. And he kind of put me up on some things I didn't know. You know, we kind of go back anyway. You know, Spring 97 is in the building, if anybody didn't know.
Hey,
but you're from Chicago. They know it now, big news.
Before you ask that question, let's do JB the honor of actually
getting him in here
because
you know he's chomping at the bit, man. Get him in here so he can holler at his kinfolk, man.
It's family, so we'll do that just because it's family. So, Jay Biller, what's up, son?
What it is? Jay Biller. Wayne, what's up, G?
Well, what's up, son? What's happening?
What's going on, cuz? Everything good?
Man, just sitting here shooting the breeze with my family.
Hey, look, I was finna I told him, I was going to correct him on some stuff and really tell him where it got started at. How you went from a superstar phenom on the basketball court to all-world Super Bowl linebacker. That's how we get down. But, yeah, man, hey, you talking to some good guys. You know Jersey World, that Patton guy. You know, we family-oriented, New Style, and Mr. Silent Partner. So you got some good guys on the line, though, with you.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I had one question, though, if I can ask one.
Go ahead, JP.
I heard you say, I had a question for Wayne. Now, Wayne, I heard you say about Patrick Willis. I know you like P. Willis, know you're Ole Miss cat. This is my question. I'm going to go to college on you. I hadn't really been seeing just no A1 middle linebackers, weak side linebackers coming from Ole Miss really since P. Willis and you that I think. Who's the next that you think, who is the next big Showtime linebacker, just out of the SEC? I'm not going to just say Ole Miss, just out of the SEC.
Out of the SEC, right now, in my opinion, I would have to say my man I think he's from Decatur, Georgia. He just tore his knee up in spring practice for Ole Miss. D.T. Shackelford. That dude, I'm telling you, he's the real deal. I mean, he's fast. And he's not afraid of coming downhill, hitting somebody in the mouth. This dude is real. If he get that knee right, he get that knee together, he's gonna be something to deal with.